All right, you're going to want your perfect square numbers handy, but now this is when we're multiplying them together. And remember, the rules for multiplication is that you need to do the coefficients together first and then the numbers underneath. Like I said, there's fancier names, but I always forget those, so I just keep it in simple layman's term. 4 times 5 is 20, and then we get 2 times 2, that's the square root of 4. My friends, what's the square root of 4? 2. So it's 20 times 2, which equals 40. Because once I take the square root of it, remember, the radical sign goes away. What do you guys think? Pretty easy? All right, let's try the next one together. Coefficients together. 4 times 3 is 12. Multiply radicals together. 3 times 4 is 12. So it's 12 root 12. Oh, I'm all done. I hope some of you are going, who understand this, go, no! There's a perfect square number in here. There is, the 4. I can literally factor out and go 12 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. So I get 12 times, what's the square root of 4? 2 times the square root of 3. 12 times 2, 24 root 3. What do you guys think? Not too bad, kind of hard. Some of you might think this is really hard, but guys, you have the skills. You have done these a lot in Algebra 1. It was probably like towards the end of Algebra 1, but you have all the skills necessary. Now, before you add or subtract, I want you to know you always need to simplify each term individually. I noticed that I can simplify the square root of 4. That's 2. So I go 3 times 2, and I leave that 5 alone. 3 times 2 is 6. That's 6 plus 5. That gives me 11. That's the time when we actually got rid of the radical. Kind of cool. But now, I look here and I'm like, ooh, panic attack, no perfect square numbers. But then I breathe for a moment and I'm like, oh wait, I know what perfect square numbers come out. And I always look for the largest one. So here, I know I'm going to split that one into 3 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Okay? So what do we get here? I get 3 times 2, root 2. Oh, that's 6, root 2. Now, the thing is, I still have this whole one over here I'm working with. And what's the largest perfect square number that goes into 32? And if some of you said 4, yes, that works, but that's not the largest. The largest one is 16. That's when you play with your calculator to see if something bigger works. So I get 13 times 4 times the square root of 2. What's 13 times 4? 52. Root 2. Now I look at these and go, oh look, same number underneath. I can add their coefficients. So that's 58 root 2. But you always have to simplify them, okay? Make sure you simplify them. Let's do the next two because this is good practice for these. So let's don't forget to do those. The first one's 25 comes out of both of those. That's the largest perfect square number. So that's the square root of 25 times the square root of 3 minus 4 times the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. Square root of 25, 5 root 3. The square root of 25 again is 5. I'm going to start saving some steps here. What's the square root of 25 is 5. 5 times a negative 4 is 20 root 2. There's nothing else you can get. Some of you are able to go from here to there. Great, do it. Simpler ones I want you to be able to do in your head. That's totally fine. How about this one here? Okay, that's the square root of 45. 45 is not a perfect square number, but the largest number that can come out is 9. So what's the square root of 9? 3 root 5. So I got 3 root 5 minus 4 root 5. Oh, that gives me a negative 1 root 5. Not bad. All right, scholars, we're going to ace this thing. Let's go ahead and get this down, and I'm going to actually show you some simple ways of doing this. And one cool thing you can do is, since this is division, you can actually simplify things down. I'm going to think if that's going to be the best route. Yeah, I think we're going to do this. So let's simplify this first. What number comes both out of 8 and 6? But you only can do that if they're both in the radical or they're both outside. 2, all right? So I get 5 times the square root of 4 over the square root of 3. Guys, what's the square root of 4? 2, okay? So that's going to be 2 times 5, that's 10 root 3. Okay, I'm going to move this over here. Can I leave a radical in the denominator? No, that's called rationalizing the denominator. So I multiply the numerator and the denominator. Ugh, I totally messed up how that looked up, so I can't stand that. So let's do it this way. the numerator and the denominator by the same thing. Multiply it across. 10 root 3 over root 3 times root 3 is 9, which is actually 3. So that's 10 root 3 over 3. Don't like how I wrote that, but we're running out of some space. So with that, we want to make sure that you always simplify everything, okay? And I always look to see if those can simplify any more. All right, I'm going to show you a different way how to do the next one. All right, if I have 3 root 5 over root 10, the rationalizing the denominator means you can multiply by the denominator right away, okay? When you do that, you end up multiplying the coefficients together, which was understood to be 1 out front. That's 3 root 50 over 10. Now, how in the world did I get 10? Sidebar. The square root of 10 times the square root of 10 equals the square root of 100. Square root of 100 is 10. When you're squaring a square root, the number comes out underneath. I use that to my advantage. Now, I always check to see if my radical is simplified. It is not. I need to simplify it. 25 can come out. So I get 3 root 25 times root 2. This is still over 10. Square root of 25, what is it? And I'm going to start kind of skipping a step here. I'm going to start and go, 5. 3 times 5, 15 root 2 over 10. Now I always check to see if I can still simplify my fractions. Yes, I can. I can pull a 5 out. That's 3 root 2 over 2. There's your final answer. A lot of work, but very doable. You should know how to do all these from last year. And then last but not least, you should automatically know if you square a square root, it comes out. If not, rewrite it. Multiply them together. It's 7. Either way works. Use what works. But here's another thing you need to remember. What if I go the square root of 16 squared? Your answer is 16. These still cancel each other out. Kind of cool, kind of cool. Hopefully this will give you a good start on working your homework. I'd have these really close by when I'm doing my stuff, and let's give it a try. If you have any questions, call me, come in for help. I will help you, I promise.